Forum.com and BMOds.com, boys. What is going on? What is going on? First and foremost, Happy New Year 2025 to everyone here at BMR. I'm excited for a wonderful year this year. I'm excited to see what BMR is going to offer this year, and I'm excited to definitely be a part of this great community. To introduce, our cast and crew as always. And then I want a little bit of a New Year's resolution from you guys. What are you looking forward to in the new year? Sam's in charge. Mr. Sammy, you just smoked a bowl. I can see it on your face. You high motherfucker. What? Let's
What's going
hear it.
on, Bobby? Got to enjoy my New Year's, cashing in a ticket before the end of New Year's, cashing in a ticket to start the New
There
Year's.
you go.
What a double overtime game. I had Arizona State plus the points. What a fourth quarter. What an overtime. Targeting or no targeting, but I had a great New Year's last night. Again, cashing a couple tickets. We got the Rose Bowl going on right now. And excited for the college playoffs, week 18 action, and on to the NFL playoffs. Here we go.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Sammy. Donnie, what's up, Donnie?
Now, as we get here in 2025, it's just like as you get older, like we're just as close to the year 2000 that we're now to 2050, which doesn't even make sense at this point for me. But another year, another day, another dollar. So hopefully everybody had a good New Year's there and also cashing in tickets. And we were upset with the bowl process, the way it was playing out in the college football playoff. Not after the game we just witnessed. So let's get after it and have another good Rose Bowl. And away we go into the NFL playoffs.
All righty. Last but not least, Reload. What's up, Reload? How you doing this afternoon?
Yeah, doing well here, Bobby. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy 2025. Let's cash some winners. Let's keep being strong in the new year. I'm starting my new year off here at Stadium Swim with a few guests behind me. So thought I'd give everyone a treat this week there.
Very, very nice. Flying Illini, I would like it better if you had some males there.
I'll tell you what, Reload, put your head down for a second, and then Diggity will go left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
But how was your New Year's, Sam? I know you always are a party animal over there on the East Coast.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Yeah, I went to the same bar I went to for the last 3 years, and it was a great time again. Went with a group of 6 of us, and one of my buddies designated drive, so it was nice. Hung out to the bar till about 1, hung out to my house. The last video was me on the porch at 2:02 a.m. It was raining out, and I was sitting on my porch just listening to the rain, just like vibing and enjoying nature. I mean, it's 40 degrees out and January 1st in upstate, which isn't supposed to be like that. I had a great time. I wasn't too hungover today. And, the only weird part about last night was at 11:55, the TVs weren't showing the countdown. They were showing ESPN still, like the Boise State game, Penn State had ended. So they weren't showing the countdown at 11:59. We're all like, oh, shit. We kind of like just self-did the countdown. But that was the only weird part. But other than that, I had a great time. Have the last few years.
Nice, man. Donnie, over to you. How was your New Year's Eve?
Yeah, first time in a couple of years, I actually made it until the ball dropped at midnight. So it was like a perfect night for me at that point. Just watching, hanging out, chilling with the family. So it's a good night overall to get some rest, get ready for the football playoffs and good times. But nothing exciting as I get older. But again, just exciting to stay up till midnight now for me.
Certainly not least. How was your night?
I was good, just relaxed at home. I did make it to midnight, which was good. I spent some time capping some games for the rest of the week. So it gave me time to do that. My Christmas was more eventful. I went and saw the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. That was exciting. Highly recommend that show if you've never seen it.
Very, very nice. My night, I was, out working Uber. It was a busy night out here in Vegas. Busiest night of the year, New Year's Eve. So I ended up, working until about 4:30 in the morning. Really good night, profitable night. Thankfully, everyone was really respectful, really nice. Got to enjoy the wonderful fireworks on the strip at midnight. So all in all, it was a successful end of 2024. But Sammy, let's dive into a little tennis if you don't mind. What do you got for us?
About that.
Yeah, after 6 long weeks of no tennis, we are finally back. Of course, it doesn't necessarily favor the East Coast. They're in Australia right now, the summer down under. But I am able to watch the matches at like 7 o'clock until I go to bed at like 10, 11. Then I can wake up at 5, 6 a.m., watch a couple of the matches before it ends for the night. You got 5 tournaments spread across, United Cup, Hong Kong. They're in Auckland, New Zealand, Australia, Brisbane. I won the first couple nights. I lost a couple nights the last few, but follow along in the thread all year round. We're a couple weeks away from the Australian Open. Can't wait for that. It's the March Madness of action the first couple days, 64 matches the first couple days. I can't wait, and got some future bets in there, and hopefully cash some tickets.
Awesome, Sammy. Well, best of luck in 2025 on all your tennis action. And if you're not following along in this thread, guys, please make sure you do. There's always money to be made there. Speaking of money to be made, boys, our last poker event is this evening, the finals. If you have not already received a private message from me, please reach out and I will make sure you get that. But a lot of great baller coins to be had on the line. Big tournament action being held tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. So I'm very, very excited for that and very excited to be rolling out the next poker tournament event series here in a few weeks. But Donnie, how was, I know you briefly touched on the college game that just ended, an amazing Texas game. What was your thoughts on the game? What did you have? And how was your last week in college football?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I had a parlay which hit in the
That's
second half, live parlays, which is fantastic to watch it play out. Yes, we're commenting 14-0 right now. Ohio State over Oregon. We'll see how the rest of that Rose Bowl plays out. But it was fan. The reason why sometimes we love college football and we love professional sports and college basketball and pro basketball is they gave us moments where everybody can come together. And when you're watching through social media or podcasts here, how much fun you can have. Arizona State versus Texas looked like it was going to be a blowout within the first 5 minutes of that game, but Arizona State fought all the way back. It was so much fun to watch. Somebody had to win. Somebody had to lose. The higher seed Texas, or should I say the lower seed, technically Texas, moves on here and gets the victory. But fantastic games all the way through. Even though some are blowouts, they're still fun to handicap. They're still fun to watch, and they're still fun to be along with. So I had a good week last week.
Awesome. Reload. What do you think of the Texas game? What do you have last week in college football?
Yeah, it was nice to see a big finish here with Texas and Arizona State. I do have my ticket on Ohio State. So it's nice to see them off to a lead here in the Rose Bowl. I do have a futures ticket on them also at plus 500, which I mentioned a few weeks ago. So I'm looking forward to the rest of that game. And hopefully it won't go to overtime and be an easy winner.
Exactly. Sammy, last but certainly not least, how was your college football last weekend? And what do you think of that Texas game? Amazing.
Yeah, in reference to the first week of the playoffs, I put a money line parlay of all the favorites. Ironically, I think all of them covered by the spread, but I had a money line parlay at plus 180. That was a nice, easy winner. And then in reference to this afternoon, I had Arizona State on the plus the points, which I thought right away was a loser. Like I said, in the middle of the first quarter, they were a 24.5-point underdog and minus 10,000 on the live line. And then, it really was those 3 plays. It was the first 2 plays on offense, and it was the punt return. Other than that, Arizona State really did win that game. And then you could really say that the targeting penalty cost them. Texas missed a 48-yard field goal, then a 37-yard field goal. They gave them all the opportunity in the world. But in the end of the day, the better team did win, but the better team today might have lost. So if anyone had Arizona State money line, sorry on that potentially bad beat, rough beat. Maybe you got lucky to even get there, but it was a great game. We all deserved it as fans. Everyone had the day off. Again, the Rose Bowl. I have Ohio State right now, so up 14-0, so that's good. Hoping that, hoping for a blowout, but on the other side, you hope for a competitive game. But if you're on the right side of the blowout, you'll take a blowout. And then in reference to tomorrow's game, which unfortunately had to get moved to tomorrow, I do like Notre Dame to beat Georgia. The game did get rescheduled for 4 o'clock Eastern time, 1 o'clock Pacific time, but I do like Notre Dame over Georgia.
All righty, Sammy. Thank you. Donnie, let's jump over to a little NBA action. I know college football right now is on the forefront, especially with that amazing finish that we just saw. But what do you got in the NBA for tonight?
Yeah, nothing really tonight. Just focused more or less. I was actually focused on getting a doubleheader in college football at only the single game. But yesterday, I did lose a plus 195 bet on Anthony Davis to be the highest scoring player yesterday in Cleveland versus LA. So that one did go down. But I don't have anything tonight on the hardwood. Just enjoying the college football action tonight.
All righty. Reload over to you. NBA action. What do you got?
Yeah, I took a good look at the NBA card today. I've got the Utah Jazz tonight as big dogs in New York against the Knicks. So plus 12.5. Came down from 14 down to 12.5, still taking it there. And also taking the under 230 in that game as well. This is an interesting spot here. The Knicks been pretty hot, had a good road trip. They're back at home just for one single game, and then they have to go back out on the road for a back-to-back in Oklahoma, Chicago. So I think that this is kind of the weak spot of the schedule, I think. A little underwhelming team coming into town. I think you're going to see a softer Knicks team, less scoring. So I'm going with the under and with the Jazz plus the points.
All righty, man. Good luck. And Sammy, over to you. I'm sure you can give plenty of insight on the Knicks. But what do you got?
Knicks winners of 8 straight. They're now up to number 3 in the East. It's funny, Cleveland is still dominating the East with only 4 losses. But again, they had an early exit in the NBA in-game tournament, which again, we kind of talked about a single game elimination versus a playoff series. So maybe the better team will win in a series. But Knicks chilling at the 3 spot. They're a couple games ahead. I mean, you still got 50, 60% of the season to go. But I love the Knicks sitting there at probably the 3 or 4 seed overall. But you're going to have to get through Boston. Cleveland is still going to be one of those teams where have they done anything in the playoffs? Boston is the defending champion. So obviously we'll talk about that in future months. But that's what the Knicks basically have in store is to get through Boston, who beat them last year in the playoffs.
All righty, Sammy, thank you. And just a quick note here for you guys. When last time I put Reload up on the camera, with those glasses, that hat, who the fuck does he look like?
Yeah, it's JJ Gold. I thought it was that the whole time.
JJ Gold 2.0 right here.
JJ Gold 2.0. Yeah.
I was wondering if someone would say that.
I was just waiting. I was waiting for the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, I was just trying to match the background a little here with the winter hats on, and just thought of putting it on. And you're right, it's
those girls definitely look cold. I'm glad their hats are on.
Yeah.
Well, JJ never had guests like this with him, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure your prick is a lot bigger than his, but we won't get into that. We will not get into that. But Sammy, what we will get into is a little Week 17 recap in the NFL for you, brother. How was it?
Yeah, let's get into it. Because first off, I was a winner last week. All right,
Top
we talk
5
about it every week. Free money to win real prizes. I went 5-2, and I won my 3 through 7. So I lost my number 1 and number 2. So I tied for 4th place with Air Force Blue with 25 points and got $75. So super pumped with that, considering I'm not in the competition for the year long. I still got 75, and I think I won $50 earlier this year. So $125 for free for 4.5 months of entertainment. But shout out RR Silver, 3rd place, 26 points. El Nino, 2nd place, 27. And Bacardi Artie, 7-0, 28 points. Congrats to him for week 17. And overall leaderboard, it's super tight. We're down to the final week. Donnie's sitting in 10th place at 272.
Yeah, stay in there.
And then you got the top 5 is all within 14 points with the top 2 1 point. So TT Warriors got a 1 point lead over RW Debaco at 296. Then you got Champ 2399, 289, 007, 285, Red the Tiger at 283 along with Knowles. So, it's going to be really exciting for the last week. But even if you're not doing it, if this is your first time doing it, you could still get in week 18, have a great 7-0 week, win a couple $100 for free. Get in there. Good luck to everyone.
Reload over to you. Week 17. How was it, brother?
Yeah, not a good week for me. I did post some picks on the forum. I ended up going 2-4 the whole week. Split on Christmas 1-1, and then going into the weekend, just all fell apart there. I even had good numbers. I had the Browns plus 6.5 before it went down to plus 3. I'm sitting with the good number. They still get blown out. So looking for a better week in week 18 here.
All righty. Donnie, last but certainly not least, week 17 in the NFL. How was it for you, buddy?
Yeah, pretty good in prop bets. Also had a decent week in the actual contest itself. The one game I got burned on though, I had Atlanta Falcons plus 3.5 to go to overtime. Like, I got this. Just somebody make a stop, kick a field goal, and I'll be able to cash that ticket. And Washington ended up winning that game with the final touchdown there, which again sets up an interesting week 18. So it wasn't bad last week, but this weekend full of landmines and a lot of fun. Who's playing? Who cares about playing? Which backups are motivated? Who's tanking for draft position? Who might be able to move up in position to just have a better playoff run? We'll see how that works out. So this week, love to see it. The handicapping is certainly fun.
Yes, it is. Speaking of not playing, guys, Sammy, I want your thoughts on this also Saquon Barkley situation. He's not going to play in week 18. He's going to sit. Therefore, he won't be going for the rushing record. What do you think?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because it's like the ultimate irony. It's like the ultimate off-season storyline that can come to full circle week 18. The Giants shockingly get rid of Saquon in the offseason. They go all in on Daniel Jones, which was a mistake. We're not even getting into that. Obviously, he's having an MVP caliber season. Too bad running backs can't win MVPs. There hasn't been a running back to win MVP since LaDainian Tomlinson in 2006. It's a flawed, thing, but quarterbacks deserve it. But that's another topic. But he could get the record with 101 yards in New York. I don't know. Why don't you give him a half, see what they can do, and see if he can go for a couple busts, maybe 70, 80 yards, give him a couple free ones. But, it is smart to rest him in case something does happen. But would like to see him get that shot in New York. Donnie's going to have probably a little bit more opinion there, too.
Let's jump over to him, Donnie.
Love the fact he's not playing. Could care less about that record. It's all about Super Bowls. I understand Saquon wants to get it, and it's a big deal, but there's no way, shape, or form he should play. And also, we should understand, if they wanted him to get the record, he could have gotten it last week against Dallas. He came out with a curtain call with 11 minutes left to go on the clock where they could have handed him the football 10 to 15 more times before that game was over, and Dallas was cooked, dead, and buried and probably would have rolled over. So it would have been wild to bench him with 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, then come out and play him in the final week of the season. And also, he probably would get it. You do risk injury, which you can't do. But what would have happened if Saquon Barkley got 17 carries for 41 yards in the first half? You're letting them carry the ball 36 plus times in that game just to break the record. It can't happen. It shouldn't happen. It's a shame you won't be able to go for the record, but a 2,000-yard season in 16 games, that's what you're asking for. He's going to get a week of rest, and he should be getting 25 to 30 carries right through to the Super Bowl. I love the fact, even as an Eagle fan, that he's not playing this weekend.
Reload, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, same here. I don't think he should be playing. I know it's a divisional game, that kind of thing. And, the fans are going to be there and everything, but you got to look forward to the playoffs. You got some tough games coming up. The Eagles are not going to get the bye, right? So they're going to be right in it next week. And I think there you got to rest everybody.
You reload. Sammy, let's jump over to you. Last but certainly not least, the Week 18 preview. What do you got for us, and what do you got for your 7?
Yeah, so Week 18, like Donnie said, you gotta find matchups or games that actually matter to the teams, because there's a lot of games that really just don't matter. So starting off on Saturday, Baltimore 17.5 over Cleveland, which is insane. So I'm staying away from that one. Too big of a spread. But I do like Cincinnati over Pittsburgh. Joe Burrow's having an MVP caliber year. His numbers are probably better than Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, but just because his team is fighting for a playoff spot, it's keeping him out. But I think they're the better team, and the only way is they have to win and get a little bit of luck. So I do like Cincinnati over Pittsburgh. But with that being said, I think Denver, who has to win an in scenario, is going to take over Kansas City, who already locked in the number 1. They already got all their bench. All their starters are going to be benched. So I think Denver should take care of business and clinch that final wild card spot, minus 9.5 over Kansas City. I like Green Bay minus 8.5 over Chicago. The Bears have been in shambles the last 3 months ever since they let up that Hail Mary pass to Washington. Green Bay is just going to keep rolling into the playoffs. A little bounce back game. They want a little bit of momentum going into the playoffs, where they will be playing on the road, as well as I like Washington, again, another NFC team, wild card team, just to win, get a little bit of momentum going into the playoffs, and should beat up Dallas. I like Houston over Jacksonville. Now, this is a meaningless game, but the only reason I like this is because I have a future bet on Houston over 9.5 wins. They've been sitting at 9 for 3 weeks. They lost to Tennessee at home a month ago, so I need them to win versus Jacksonville to cash that future bet. And then last but not least, in the Sunday night football, we're blessed to be able to get a matchup that is going to be basically a playoff matchup. It determines the number one seed, who's going to get the bye, who's going to have home field throughout the whole playoffs. I do like Detroit at home over the Vikings, but I like the over. That's going to have 60, 70 points in that game. That should be one of the game of the week right there.
For your Houston bet, are you hedging at all? Are you letting it ride?
No, I haven't actually even thought about that. You know what? To be fair, you're the first person that put that in my mind. Right initially, I'm going to say no. Even though it is a pick, I mean, it's like a pick line, so I easily could throw a couple $100 on Jacksonville. I guess now that you mention it, I'll have to think about it. It's over $500, so it's not like it's a huge one.
All right, but yeah, that's very true. You know what? Your gut said to let it ride. I think you should probably just let it ride. I shouldn't have put that out there. Reload, over to you. Week 18, buddy. What do you got?
Yeah, week 18. I'm going to the NFC for all of my picks this week. Starting with the marquee matchup, the Detroit Lions against the Minnesota Vikings, which is going to be the talk of the NFL the whole day, hyping that up. I'm going with the under in that one, under 56.5. The total's been going up. I'm going to go the other way on it and take the under 56.5. I think you're going to see it fought very tightly, a lot on the line in the game. And I like the under. I'd like to see maybe a more hard fought game than some of what we've seen from those teams lately. So I'm going to take the under there. And then also the NFC South games, I'm going with the Panthers, Carolina Panthers plus 8.5 against the Falcons. Carolina 6-2 against the spread the last 8. They will show up and hopefully keep it close there against the Falcons, and also the New Orleans Saints plus 13.5. Big number there. They're obviously outmatched, but Tampa Bay I think could be in a little bit of look ahead mode come the second half. We might see a nice backdoor cover there from the Saints, and I have seen some minus 115 leans out there from some books. So I would grab the flat 13.5 while you can.
All right. So thank you. And last but certainly not least, Donnie, week 18, what do you got for us?
Yeah, NFC East action. Like the interesting one's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles not trying to win, and you got to be kidding me if the Giants are actually trying to beat the Eagles in that final game. So that's one to watch. But one I do like in the NFC East is the Washington Commanders going up against the Dallas Cowboys. You might say, like, okay, they're in the playoffs, but you don't want to be the 7th seed, which they're in position to be the 6th seed if they just knock off the Dallas Cowboys, who are playing for nothing. They're cutting Zeke Elliott. Obviously, without CeeDee Lamb, that offense is a shell of its former self. And I do think Washington will be able to move the football. So from a standpoint where Washington's going to get a full effort in week 18, I'm going to take them to cover the 4.5 points here. Other games out there, Seattle, I like them. Now it's ballooning up to minus 6.5 going up against the Rams. The Rams are resting their starters, looking forward to the playoffs. Stafford's not going to be in that one. And I just think it's one of those games at the end of the season. First-year head coach for Seattle, they're going to play their starters, and they probably can run up the score. But also Minnesota, Detroit. Reload is right about this. This line was 52-53 is the look-ahead line. Everybody saw that Monday Night Football game. Oh, my goodness. Nobody's going to be able to play any defense. Minnesota has a very, very good defense in a playoff atmosphere where if you win, you get the 1 seed. If you lose, you get the 5. You're going to play this game like it is a live or die playoff game, which usually tends to the under. There's 57s out there right now. So in your 30-27 and you get a push, that's a ton of points in the NFL. So I agree with Reload there too.
Donnie, thank you. And best of luck, everybody, on all your week 18 action. Again, happy New Year to each and every one of you out there. And we will see you guys on the forum.
See ya.